Hey, what's going on, guys? Crimsix Porter here. I used to be a professional Call of Duty player. Now I'm a professional sim racer. Now I'm also a professional real-life racing driver for the Rafa Racing Club. Today, I made a pedal profile for the GT4 RS Club Sport that isn't in iRacing yet. So we're gonna use the older model, the 718 GT4 Club Sport. But let's get right into this with the throttle. So the throttle went with the linear curve, went with around 7.95 kilograms of pressure. And then the preload is around 2.03 to be precise. Pedal travel, honestly, it might be a little bit shorter. It's very difficult to try to actually get it down in the millimeter. Maybe I actually get out the measuring tape next time I drive it. The dampening went with 2%. It's sort of a standard. Yeah, the Porsche throttle feels springy. It doesn't really feel spongy, but there is just a little hint of it. Now to the complicated stuff, the brake. So, the first thing I want to mention with the brake, and my biggest critique for the actual car itself, was that the backstop was soft. Well, technically I can't fully replicate what it felt like, because to me it felt like there was no backstop on the car. The brake just went forever. And we looked at the data, and I'm braking 100% every single time. And so we went with soft, but if there was an option for it to be completely off, I would go with that. So the force, I actually went with a little bit higher force, but with the curve itself, it doesn't really even feel that heavy until I'm about right there. Right when I'm around 80%, then it starts to get really heavy. So sort of replicated that by going up in the curve maximum force, and also the pedal distance is very similar to what I felt in real life. I should mention, this is not meant for speed. It's not meant for going fast in a sim. It's meant to replicate what I felt in the car, so it's realistic. The preload did around 5.93 kilograms, so pretty high on the preload. But the curve itself is the key. I think the curve itself makes it so it's like even though I'm going pretty high on the brake in terms of max kilograms, it doesn't feel all that bad. Like, I could probably hold it at 60% all day long. Now 80 to 90%, not so much. But again, that's what I felt like it felt like in the real car. ABS, this is sort of the tricky one. So Eero, the engineer, he was explaining to me that the frequency, you can't really change that. That's coming from the game to the active pedals. But we sort of set it up as best as we could, because what I felt was like the ABS would only push back at you in the car in real life. It would only push back at you around like the very, very peak pressure. So like 90 to 100%. It's not all that intense. And I mean, that's what it felt like in the real car too. It felt like the ABS wasn't impacting your ability to modulate the brake. So guys, this was my GT4 profile. I just drove the car 5 days ago. So it's sort of a first impressions sort of feel and look to it. But if you want to download it, if you want to try it out, go to simucube.com and you'll be able to find it there.